So what do you think needs to be done to help the consumer void of any helicopter money?
Well, one is these white goods program, encouraging more durable goods consumption. That helps on the deflationary side because it helps to fill that excess capacity. But there is no magic bullet, no mistake about it. I do think that the quickest way to restore consumer confidence is by stabilizing the housing market. Luckily, there are policies in train to try to address that. One is the social housing program. Another one is the whitelist program that Beijing has mandated to really get local governments to back up some selected developers. But we haven't seen really quick enough moves to really dispel any concerns around developers. And that's why you see this hesitation. There are some green shoots in property, don't get me wrong, but it will take probably several more months before we get to that point. So anything you can do to speed this up is going to be key in terms of getting household confidence to bounce back.
But are we sure there's no magic bullet? Because I'm not the only one saying this. Everyone is saying this. Helicopter money would solve the problem. Whether it would cause other problems, sure, fine, a little bit down the road, because obviously, it's going to cost money to give out money for free. But realistically, if you want to have an upward impulse to inflation, if you want consumers to spend, then don't you just do what every other economy did on the back end of COVID or during COVID even, and just give them money to spend?
Well, it's certainly one policy option on the table. I'd be surprised if that comes through in China. I think the authorities have signaled that sort of the free helicopter money style is not necessarily on the table. The reason for that is probably some concerns about long-term debt, the long-term inflationary implications. They're really trying to strike a very fine line here between doing just enough to stabilize growth without reinflating expectations, debt levels, etc. So it is a very fine line. Yes, some other economies have used quantitative easing, for example. China is likely to be very gradual in its approach, partly because we have seen helicopter money lead to inflation of asset prices in other economies. And don't forget, that's very distortionary as well. And that's certainly something China doesn't want to see, is a rapid reinflation of asset bubbles just after we succeeded in deflating one pretty big asset bubble in recent years.
Fred, I hear what you're saying about trying to address the problems in the property sector. No doubt that is one of the ways. And I hear what Will's saying as well about the helicopter money, but it looks like there's just no appetite to do that in China right now because they believe that it will lead to, productivity issues. They don't think it's going to sort out their long-term problems here. So when you're looking at these sort of bigger picture goals that China has, moving away actually from this reliance on the property sector, that seems to be why maybe we haven't seen the big bang stimulus. What about, in terms of the long-term structural challenges, trying to encourage people to feel good about their long-term income expectations so that they will perhaps go out and spend their money? What do you think they could do in that respect? Because they're talking about these new productive forces, but it doesn't seem like they have sort of another alternative to the traditional growth driver like the property sector yet.
That's right. Well, they have, I think, decided that the real estate bubble needs to deflate. That will cause several years of pain, and we just got to grind through this. We should resist temptations of quick reflation. But I think you're right about asking about the next growth driver. And it does appear that the new productive forces, that is emphasis on high technology, high-end investment, is going to be part and parcel of this. And I think that's a valid strategy if you think that delivers productivity growth and helps ultimately the economy develop.